It's game day. Indiana Fever versus Atlanta Dream. The Clark Show, baby. Caitlin Clark versus Angel, the lean, mean rebound machine. Reese set to take off. Caitlin Clark ball. They have finally ditched the nonsense Stephanie White offensive system that nobody likes, nobody wants to see, and for good reason. Good riddance to your offense, Stephanie White. This is the Clark Show, and she needs to put on a real Clark Show to get a win versus.
Welcome back to WNBA Trends, where we break down what's really happening behind the headlines. Tonight, the Indiana Fever are giving away scratch-off lottery tickets at the door. Free dollar tickets for the first 4,000 fans. And before you think that's just a normal promotion, understand what someone is actually saying by doing this. They're betting on Caitlin Clark to fill seats. Not giveaways, not nostalgia. Clark. The entire franchise is built around one player's ability to pack an arena. And right now, that pressure is suffocating everything around her. Here's the thing nobody wants to admit about the Fever season so far. Caitlin Clark is playing some of the best basketball of her life. She just became the fastest player in WNBA history to reach 250 points and 100 assists in a single season. She did it in 13 games. The East Conference Player of the Week, the best playmaker in the league, but her team nearly imploded anyway. And that's the story that matters. 3 weeks ago, May 20th, Indiana lost at home to Portland, the expansion team, 100-84, their worst loss of the season. During the game, Caitlin and head coach Stephanie White were caught on camera exchanging heated words on the sideline. Full-blown tension, the kind of thing that travels through a locker room like fire. The team called a meeting after that, and from May 28th through June 6th, Indiana went 1-3. Clark's averaging 12 points on terrible shooting because she's dealing with a back issue that's been nagging her all season, a back that already cost her the Portland game. So now the fan base is panicking. The coach and the franchise player aren't on the same page. Trade rumors start circling Indianapolis. The narrative becomes Stephanie White doesn't know how to use her best player.
On the Atlanta Dream, but there's some business we got to get to before we even get to this, man. The Indiana Fever have stooped to a new low. The Indiana Fever, not only is it family night, you're giving away damn lottery tickets. The Indiana Fever giving out lotto tickets, y'all. This is crazy. Look at this here. Get ready for an exciting night with Hoosier Lottery. First 4,000 fans 18 plus will receive a free $1 scratch-off ticket or coupon, one per person while supplies last.
But then something happens. The team meeting clears the air. Something shifts. Tuesday night against Toronto, Clark drops 21 points and a season-high 14 assists. 18-point victory, blows out. 14 assists, tied the most by any player in the league this season. She's now the only player in WNBA history to have more than 10 games with at least 20 points and 10 assists. Nobody else has more than 10. She has 14. That's a different level. And the Fever go on a 4-game winning streak. Mystics, Sky, Sun, Tempo. 4 straight wins. But here's where the skepticism comes in, and it's fair. Combined record of those 4 teams, 18-37, the easiest schedule possible, the soft part of the slate. They didn't play anybody. So did the system actually work? Did the coach figure it out? Or did they just beat up on bad teams and convince themselves they had everything solved? That's what tonight is actually about. Atlanta Dream. Same team Indiana already handled once this season, but this time it matters because Atlanta is good. Atlanta is in the playoff conversation, and Atlanta has Angel Reese, the guy everyone on the internet wants to see matched up against Clark. It's the rivalry that moves the needle. It's the one that sells tickets and fills Twitter and makes people actually care about women's basketball in June. In that first meeting back on June 4th, Indiana absolutely dismantled Atlanta's offense, held them to 34% shooting, best defensive performance of the entire season. Ryan Howard, the Dream's leading scorer, was limited to 8 points on 9 shots, fewest attempts of her entire season. She and Alicia Gray combined for 21. That's the defensive blueprint. Quiet one of those guards, and Atlanta's offense just stops working. And it's been stopped all season, because bringing Angel Reese in hasn't magically fixed the chemistry issues that were already there. Here's why Atlanta made that trade, though. Last year, the Dream won 30 games, franchise record, got the 3 seed. Then they ran into the 6 seed, injury-ravaged Indiana Fever in the first round of the playoffs, and they folded. The more talented roster lost to the tougher team. So Atlanta spent assets to bring in Reese specifically to inject toughness, to inject motor, to get someone who simply refuses to quit. The thing Atlanta traded for is the exact thing that Indiana is still trying to figure out. Caitlin Clark came into this season coming off a year where lower body injuries limited her to 13 games, an entire season wiped. Now it's June, and she's already matched that total, 13 games in. But that back is still something the coaching staff manages with serious caution. Every time she hits an injury report, part of the fan base doesn't react with concern, they react with suspicion. That tells you everything you need to know about how fragile the trust is right now.
Clark, the golden goose, the needle, not the needle mover, the actual needle, the cake, not the icing on the cake, she's the whole cake. When did you think they would have to be giving away lottery tickets for fans to come to games? When did you think that Clark and the Indiana Fever play basketball? You screwed the pooch. You blew it. And it's absolutely embarrassing that the Indiana Fever have been forced to stoop this low.
But here's what actually matters for tonight. Indiana's 9-4. Atlanta's 9-3, half a game apart in a brutally tight playoff race. A win tonight is seeding. It's momentum. It's proof that the last 4 games meant something. Losing sends every doubter right back into the story. It says, yeah, they beat the bad teams. That's it. Plus, the Fever are 4-1 in Commissioner's Cup play, sitting within a half game of New York for a spot in the June 30th final. So this winning streak isn't just building confidence, it's building towards something. There's actual stakes here. And underneath all of this sits the real question the entire video has been circling. Is the Fever turnaround legitimate? Did they fix the real problems, or did they just get healthy, play weak teams, and convince themselves they figured it out against cupcakes? Beating Atlanta answers that. It proves the turnaround is real. It proves the system works. It proves Stephanie White's adjustments actually matter. Losing means none of it means anything yet. It means the questions are still valid. Here's the interesting part. The Fever don't actually need lottery tickets to sell this game. Clark and Reese is the most watched rivalry in women's basketball right now. It's the matchup that drives ratings, that packs buildings, that makes people actually tune in. The giveaway was never the story. It was always just basketball. But the lottery tickets do reveal something true. They reveal the pressure. They reveal how much Indiana needs to keep winning. They reveal that one player doesn't sell herself for long if the team around her keeps losing. And that's what the last 3 weeks have actually been about. Not the system, not the coaching. It's about whether a franchise built entirely on one player's shoulders can actually compete. Whether the infrastructure around her is strong enough. Whether this is just the Clark show or whether there's actually a team here. Tonight answers that. Atlanta Dream, first real test against a winning team. This is what happens next in the story that matters. Watch for Aaliyah Boston against Angel Reese in the paint. Watch for how Indiana attacks the Dream's guards. Watch for whether the defense that's been so good in June shows up against a live offense. Watch for whether Clark's burst, that thing everyone says makes her special, actually translates against the best competition she's faced since the season turned around. The lottery tickets are still just a promotion, but the game is everything.